I'm going to be playing Second Breakfast Challenge number 17 from Card Talk, The Passing of the Gray Company. And the restrictions in this quest are leadership/lore and threat reduction in the staging area. I'm playing a dwarf deck with Dane Ironfoot, 11th threat leadership hero, 1, 2, 3, 5 dwarf. While Dane Ironfoot is ready, dwarf characters get +1 attack and willpower. Ori, an 8 threat lore hero, 2, 2, 1, 3 dwarf. If you control at least 5 dwarf characters, draw 1 additional card at the beginning of the resource phase. And the third hero is a contract hero from Messenger of the King. It's the Bomber Ally. It'll be a 4 threat lore hero, 0013 dwarf. Action: exhaust Bomber to choose a location that gets -1 threat until the end of the phase. That location does not contribute its threat, instead, if it's an underground location. And all locations in this quest are underground. So the starting threat is 4, 12, 23. And the cards that I have to reduce threat in the staging area, I have Secret Path, Familiar Lands, Guarded Ceaselessly, Assyrian Tracker, Ranger Spikes, and Radagast Cunning. So these 3 are for locations, and these 3 are for enemies. We also get Fellowship Aragorn. He's a 2, 3, 2, 5 Dunedain Noble Ranger. First player gains control of Aragorn. If Aragorn leaves play, players lose the game. While Aragorn has an artifact attached, he gains Sentinel and does not exhaust to quest. For our opening hand, Hardy Leadership, Zora's Map, Hellas, Out of the Wild, Dunedain Lookout, and Erebor Hammersmith. We'll keep this hand. "1A. Set the Stone of Eric and Army of the Dead aside out of play. Each player attaches a copy of Overcome by Fear to his threat dial. 1B. When revealed, each player may add 1 resource to the resource pool of each of the heroes he controls. Each player who does so must raise his threat by 3. At the end of the planning phase, discard all cards in each player's hands and advance to stage 2A. So we're going to add 1 resource to each of our heroes' resource pools and raise our threat by 3. And we have the Overcome by Fear attached to our threat dial, and the Army of the Dead and the Stone of Eric side out of play. And the Overcome by Fear is your threat cannot be reduced, and at the end of the round, raise your threat by additional threat, and you may spend 1 fellowship resource to remove Overcome by Fear. We're going to play Hardy Leadership. Now all dwarf characters get +1 hit point. I'm going to play the Erebor Hammersmith. And Dunedain Lookout. So 1/1/1, and you can discard him to cancel the when revealed effects of an enemy. All these cards get discarded. And we go to 2A. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck for a different location and adds to the staging area. We're going to take out the Deadly Road. And it's 2B. X quest points. X is the threat of the player with the highest threat, and each player cannot reduce his threat below his initial threat level. At the beginning of the planning phase, each player must choose either raise your threat by 1, or you can't play cards this phase. I'm going to quest. There's 2 in the staging area. I'm going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Trusting place. While it's in the staging areas, each enemy in the staging area can't take damage. I'm going to exhaust Bomber and use his ability to make the trusting place not count as threat. So we quested for 8, and there's 2 in the staging area, so we quest successfully by 6. Then we're going to spend 1 resource and travel to the Deadly Road. End of the round, raise our threat by an additional 1 and spend a resource to get rid of the overcome by fear. We're not going to play anything during the planning phase. Quest for 8, and there's 3 in the staging area. Whispers in the dark. Either attach a set-aside overcome by fear to your threat dial, or each character you control gets -1 to each of its attributes. We'll attach the overcome by fear. And then we're going to exhaust Bomber to make location not count as threat. So we quest successfully by 8. That clears the deadly road and puts 5 onto the quest, bringing us up to 11. End of the round. To raise our threat by an additional 1 and remove it. We're going to go to the questing phase. We're going to quest for 8, and there's 3 in the staging area. Another Whispers in the dark. So we're going to add the overcome by fear. Exhaust Bomber to have this location not count as threat, and we make 8 progress. We're up to 19. The end of the round. Threat by additional 1. Forgot to give him a resource. Spend a resource to remove it. Now we're going to go to the questing phase. The quest for 8. And there's 3 in the staging area. The way is shut. Either set aside and attach a set aside overcome by fear to your threat dial. Okay. Surge. Haunted Pass. Well, there's 1 threat in the staging area because we're going to make this location not count as threat. So we quest successfully by 7. This is up to 26. Now it's the travel phase. We're going to not travel, so we go to the end of the round. Raise our threat by 2. Spend 1 resource and get rid of the overcome by fear. We're going to raise our threat by 1. Play cards. I'm going to play the Dwarven Sellsword. 1. Lucilian Tracker. 2. We're going to put Guarded Ceaselessly onto this Haunted Pass. Now we're going to quest for 11. And there is 5 in the staging area. Shadow Host, that's 4. We're going to exhaust Bomber. Have this not count as threat. Then we're going to exhaust a Cillian Tracker to have this not count as threat. Or minus off 2. So we quite successful by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bring us up to 33. Now we're going to go to the next round. We draw 2 cards. We also have to spend 1 to keep the dwarf in play. We're going to raise our threat by 1. We're going to put out a Ranger Spikes. Put a Woodman's Clearing. Under the Haunted Path. Now we're going to quest for 11. And there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whispers in the Dark. We'll add a Overcome by Fear to our threat dial. Now we're going to exhaust Bomber to make this not count as threat. We're going to exhaust the Cillian Tracker to have the Haunted Path not count as minus 2. So we quite successful by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it brings us up to 40. So we go to the next round, or stage. "3A. The Dead are following. Add the Stone of Eric, an Army of the Dead, enemy side face up, to the staging area. Each player may raise his threat by 3 to detach Overcome by Fear from his threat dial and set it aside out of play." And 3B. 5 quest points. While the Stone of Eric is the active location, each Oathbreaker enemy loses the Phantom keyword and gets minus 20 engagement cost. When the Stone of Eric leaves play as an explored location, the players win the game, and the Phantom means that instead of dealing damage, you raise your threat. So this is threat twice the number of players. So that's 2. Now we're just going to go to the next round. raise our threat by an additional 1, and remove the Overcome by Fear. And spend 1 to keep the Dwarven Sellsword in play. Cram and a Lore of Moria. I'm going to put a Cram onto Aragorn because we no longer have to raise our threat. And there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 16 in the staging area. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Uh, 12, 13. Now we're going to play Lore of Moria and ready everybody up. Deadman of Dunharrow. He falls into a trap. So now we're going to exhaust. Oh, actually quested for an extra 1 here because of Bomber. We're going to exhaust Bomber to make this not count threat. We're going to, that brings it down 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to exhaust the Cillian Lookout to have this not minus off 2. So we quested successfully by 3. Actually by 2, because this actually does produce 1 threat. We're going to engage the Shadow Host. Task Overcome by Fear. If we block with, we're going to be able to attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to block with Dane. No Shadow. Raise the threat by 1. We're going to Cram. And we're going to quest attack for 8. And destroy the Shadow Host. Go to the end of the round. Raise the threat by an additional 1. Get rid of the Overcome by Fear. And we're going to spend 1 to keep the Dwarven Sellsword in play. Sneak attack and Woodman's Clearing. And attach another Woodman threat to the Woodman's. Attach Woodman's Clearing to the Hidden Pass. Now there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13 in the staging area. We're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Blood runs chill. Each player with a threat of 35 or higher deals 1 damage to each exhausted character. Doom 1. So no threat was added. We're going to exhaust Bomber to make this location not count as threat. So that means we quest successfully by 5. We're actually going to exhaust the Assylian Tracker instead of Bomber to reduce this by 2. So we quest successfully by 3. So we got 5 here. Now we can travel to the Stone of Eric. To remove 4 or 5. Each player has to search the deck and discard pile for an Oathbreaker and add it to the staging area. We're going to get the Faceless Dead. Now, each enemy gets minus 20 engagement cost. So the Faithless Dead and the Army of the Dead engage. We're going to deal out shadow cards. When he attacks, I'm going to attach the Overcome by Fear. I'm going to block with Dane. Attacking enemy is +1, so he's attacking for 7, and we block 4, so we Take 4 damage because we no longer have the Phantom. This is attacking for 3. It was blocking for 1. We're going to block with Bomber. Either attach, set aside, overcome by fear to your threat dial, or attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. So he's going to be making an additional attack. We have to deal 2 damage to Bomber. So this goes undefended. Attacking enemy gets +1 and loses the Phantom keyword for this attack. Attacking for 4. We're going to destroy Bomber. We have to raise our threat by an additional 1. We'll spend 1 resource to remove it. Spend 1 threat resource to keep the sellsword. I'm going to spend 3 to play Out of the Wild. I get to search the top 5 cards of the counter deck for any one non-objective card worth no victory points and add it to the victory display. I'm going to get rid of the Shadow Host. There is 3, 4, 5, 6 in the staging area. And we're going to quest for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then exhaust Sicilian Tracker to make this not count as threat because of the guarded ceaselessly. And it's a Deadly Road. That's 1, 2. We're going to play a Durin Song and add 2 to Ori. So we quest successfully by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That clears out the Stone of Eric. And when the Stone of Eric leaves play as an explored location, the players win the game. So there's a win. We might have lost Bomber, but he did his part. We were able to reduce our threat in the staging area pretty good. I didn't get to reduce my threat from the Woodman's Clearing, but I still end with 45 threat. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and have a great day.